What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share it, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one. And we appreciate your support in getting us this far. And if you haven't already, as you know, with the 1st and 15th, right down there is the join button. And you get access to these videos on the 1st and 15th ahead of time if you become a member. So please, we got multiple tiers you can join. We got all different kinds of ways you could help us help you bring more of Unique Access Entertainment into your phone, your computer, your tablet, and your life. So please hit that join button if you haven't already. That really helps us out and enables me to help out the good people that help me with Unique Access Entertainment here on the 1st and 15th. Now, today, man, we had the recent deaths already in 2023 of Dove from D.O.C, aka Dave, and we also had Gangster from 3 6 Mafia. And these deaths obviously hurt me as somebody that loved both of those groups. I've spent so much time with 3 6 Mafia over the years. I knew Gangster personally, spent time just hanging out with her over the years. D.O.C, I'd interviewed multiple times over the years, went to Mace's house back in 96 when I was interviewing them for Stakes is High, and hung out with him and Paz basically all day. And man, so to lose them, Gangster and Dove is just, super hard, both personally and professionally, because I love their music. I got to see D.O.C and 3 6 Mafia perform multiple states, multiple venues, multiple decades even, so many different times. And now with those two in particular, I won't be able to see them perform ever again. And definitely if I see 3 6 Mafia again, Boo won't be there. And if D.O.C decides to continue without Dave, he won't be there too. So it's just, these are catastrophic losses for me personally and professionally. And this has made me think of something for the 1st and 15th is one, never being able to see him perform again, but two, how much I miss groups, really starting in the mid to late 1990s, I would say, and it accelerated once we got to the 2000s. We didn't get that many groups anymore, and that's something I think is really missing from rap, because as I think about it and as I look at some of my favorite albums from the last several years, most of them are from artists, or they're from one artist, one producer, and they made a group, but it's really still the driving force of one artist as a rapper. And that to me, is disappointing. And as I think back, it made me think of all these other layers and levels of things, which is what I wanted to talk about today on the 1st and 15th is, missing these groups and missing these artists and all the different things that come from groups. So that's what we're going to do, talk about that today. So, thinking back, one of the earliest and one of my favorite groups of all time is Whodini. And, I got to see them perform several times over the years in different states, different decades. One of my favorites is they performed in Baltimore and Inner Harbor. That was amazing. But of course, we lost Ecstasy back in 2020, and the group had, been splintered and fractured before that. But now there's no chance for them to reconcile. There's no chance for Whodini to do another album, for them to work past their differences. And that's really a shame, because to me, they're one of the best rap groups ever. They helped popularize rap. Their music still is getting sampled today. Nas sampled it, of course, on his biggest song, If I Rule the World, he's sampling Friends. So by Whodini. And that to me just shows the power of what Whodini did and how much we've lost by them no longer, being able to be a trio anymore. And that to me is just devastating. We lost Kango Kid from UTFO. Roxanne was on the first tape I ever got from my boy Tom Early back in the day. And then, of course, we lost, we look at some of the other big dogs, man, it's the Fat Boys. I was never fortunate enough to see the Fat Boys perform in person, but I've been listening to their music as soon as I got into rap. We lost Buffy in 1995, and then Prince Marky D in 2021, just a couple days after I interviewed him. That's a travesty. If you guys didn't see it, there's the link to one of the interviews I did with Prince Marky D, but he died literally about a week after I talked to him. I couldn't believe it. Shout out to Dana Dane connecting us and Prince Marky D for the great conversation. Fortunately, I had already met and got to know and talk to extensively Cool Rock Ski. But man, you know, the Fat Boys, I love their music. I love what they brought to the game, the comedy, the lyricism, the creativity, the just showing another side of the game. And all those things are gone now. Like, it's a shame. And it really hurts because I was never fortunate enough to be able to see them perform, and now I never will. But thankfully, we have the videos, we have the movies, and we have the music. And that's, you know, the most important thing as things stand now, is to cherish and champion what the Fat Boys did and how they helped popularize rap, how they were at one point and for several years one of, if not the biggest groups in rap. And that, you know, we miss that. I know I do, and I'm sure you guys too, watching this video. And speaking of biggest groups, is there anybody bigger or with more of a cultural impact, arguably, than N.W.A? Of course, we lost Eazy-E. He's one of the people I never got to meet or interview or see in person. You know, I was too young when N.W.A was torn, and I don't even remember hearing about them coming to Maryland when I was a kid. But, you know, just on Unique Access, we've had MC Ren interviews, we've had DJ Yella interviews. There's a link to them right there. You could check those out. But, you know, I've gotten the fortune to meet and hang out with both of them over the years, but I've also got to meet and know and spend a lot of time with Ice Cube over the years, ride around in the car with Cube and just talk. I got to go to the studio with Dr. Dre several times and talk to him on the phone, you know, a dozen times over the years, and spend a lot of time with him. So imagine if there is no N.W.A. We don't get Ice Cube's solo career. We don't get Dr. Dre's solo career. And with Cube and Dre in particular, both of those guys put out so many amazing artists that helped make rap better, whether it was Yo-Yo or Cam or Delta Funky Homo Sapien or Snoop Dogg or Eminem or 50 Cent. You know, the list goes on and on and on and on. And that's the thing that I think we lose when we lose groups. We're losing these entities that then springboard into all these other possibilities, whether it's Dr. Dre as a producer and as a solo artist, or whether it's Ice Cube as a rapper and someone that's become a titan in the entertainment world. And that just stinks, because this all comes from groups. The first group I ever saw, or the first concert I ever went to, featured several groups. One of them was Digital Underground. They were part of the supporting act, one of the supporting acts on Public Enemy's Fear of a Black Planet tour. And when I got to see them, I saw, of course, Digital Underground, who was on the tour, and Shock G. And man, you know, when Shock G passed, you know, back in 2021, that hit me especially hard, because not only did I love Digital Underground's music, but on top of that, they were at the first concert I'd ever seen, the Fear of a Black Planet tour at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland, in front of 18,000 plus people. And that's a great memory I'll have. I'll never forget it. But now again, you know, I'll never be able to see Shock G perform. I got to meet him and talk to him a couple times over the years as well. And that was a phenomenal experience, you know. But like I said, you know, we need groups. We need solo artists that spring from them. You know, look at leaders of the new school, Busta Rhymes. We wouldn't have Busta Rhymes and all the great things that he's done in rap if we don't have groups. And that's why I think it's so important that we can get back to this type of thing. You know, it's one thing to have a crew, but if you're coming out the gate as leaders of the new school, or coming out as N.W.A, or coming out, you know, in these different ways as Digital Underground, then you can splinter off and have a Tupac come out. You can have a Raw Fusion with Money B and DJ Fuse, all this great material that maybe Raw Fusion would have never got a deal. Maybe Tupac wouldn't have had the momentum. You know, we never know. We'll never know, because we won't ever know. But beyond that, it's conceivable to say that they wouldn't have met the right people, or it's conceivable to say their music would have been totally different because of the influences they were around. Might have been better, it might have been worse. We'll never know. But groups bring out so many good things. And that's the other thing that I think about too, especially in the last couple of years. Like I was saying, the quality of the albums from groups, I think, is either non-existent or lesser. But thankfully, a lot of the artists, to my point, that are coming from groups are doing great things. Like just in 2022, we had the Roots are still doing their thing, but Black Thought, as everybody knows, the last several years has been putting out a lot of great material. And last year was no exception with the Cheat Codes with Danger Mouse. That's one of my favorite albums of 2022, and it's a phenomenal piece of work. And again, with the Roots coming out in the early and mid 1990s when they really were breaking through, fast forward to 2023, if it weren't for the Roots with Black Thought in 2022 and 2023, be able to do what he did at the Grammys? Would he be able to, release these albums with these top tier producers on the side of the Roots? Maybe, maybe not, but this gives it a better chance. I was fortunate enough, you can check the interview there with Sadat X from Brand Nubian, Science of Life. That was another great album from 2022. Do we get that album in 2022 if back, in 1990 on, Brand Nubian comes out and has an amazing career and puts out a lot of seminal work? I don't know. It's highly unlikely, but that's the type of thing that we need and that groups bring us. Cypress Hill is another one. They've been on and off again over the years, but Back in Black, 2022, another great album. And this is the thing, like groups don't have to stay together the whole time, or people can do these side projects and come back, like Be Real and even Sendog and Muggs, of course, have done throughout the years. But Back in Black, let's not use Muggs production, let's use Black Milk's production. And then boom, we got a whole album with the sound and the style that we hadn't had before. And that I think is very important. It helps push us as listeners, but it also pushes groups like Cypress Hill creatively. Like, okay, maybe I'll think of a different way to rap, or this beat moves me in a different way than something Muggs would have done, or back in the day, T-Ray with Ain't Going Out Like That. But that happens by being in a group and having the interplay of a Be Real and a Sendog side by side, going back and forth and leaning on, building on, and examining what each other was doing to push themselves harder or to bring other elements to the music. That's why all this stuff is so good. Smith & Wesson, Steel and Tech do stuff on the side all the time, but General Steel, City Under Siege 3, that was another great project. And again, if Boot Camp Click and Duck Down and everything that Black Moon was doing, this collective that they created had Smith & Wesson in it. Would Steel, would Tech be putting out solo albums in the 2020s had it not been what Black Moon and Boot Camp Click established back in the mid 1990s and even the early 1990s? That's hard to say, but I'm just glad that they did back in the day. And, taking it even further, like I said, we had groups like with what Black Thought is doing, kind of bouncing in and out. You got someone like Pharoah Monch, Organized Confusion, then Pharoah Monch, and then he comes out with 13 in 2021. That's a great project. If you haven't checked it out, it's a much more sonically on the rock side of things, but it's an amazing project. And, you got people that can join different groups like Pharoah Monch did with 13. You have Inspector Deck going from Wu-Tang Clan to doing solo stuff to doing Czarface. And several years ago, back in 2019, one of my favorites was Czarface meets Ghostface. So you got Inspector Deck, Wu-Tang, solo, Czarface, and then, they did stuff with MF Doom, they do stuff with Ghostface. So now he's even bringing Wu-Tang, even more of Wu-Tang into what Inspector Deck's doing with Czarface. And to me, all of this springs from having a group, and the group is so important to rap. And that's something that really disappoints me, that out the gate we're not getting these collection of 2, 3, 5, however many Wu-Tang type of thing you can get, but it's to where it's a group of people coming together, and that's something that I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a little bit more of as time goes on. And these type of thoughts came to me thinking about this Dave from De La Soul and Gangster Boo from 3 6 Mafia. Very different types of music, of course. De La Soul coming out in the 80s, 3 6 Mafia more in the 1990s. And it just shows like how rap grows and evolves and how things develop differently. And, De La Soul being on Long Island, 3 6 Mafia being in Memphis. De La Soul being a trio, 3 6 Mafia being 6 members, including Gangster Boo, a female. So it's all different types of things. Gangster Boo had a successful solo career. She's on Outkast albums. She's on Run the Jewels, another group, that came from a solo artist with Killer Mike and LP coming from Company Flow into what they're doing with Run the Jewels. And that's the type of thing that I think we need from rap. And I definitely miss that because it brought so much to the game. And now I think as artists are getting older and some of them are passing away, we're losing that from the tour experience, the concert experience, but then we're also losing it in the musical output. I know groups are going to break up. That's inevitable. I know people aren't going to like each other. That's also inevitable. But, when people are able to work through their differences, as the Wu has, Cypress Hill's been able to break up and then come back, or different people leave or join or what have you. That's something that can happen given time, but we need to start with the group and we need to give and support the artists so that they can keep delivering what's so important to us, which is the music, which is the lifestyle, which is the culture, which is the tour experience, which is being able to see our artists that we love and appreciate, supporting them in person at concert. So as I do on the 1st and 15th, of course, there are many artists and groups that I didn't mention, but these are some of the ones that came to mind. So as always, I encourage you to please hit the comments, hit me up, let me know what you guys think. Either myself or someone at Unique Access Entertainment will hit you back. But that's why I wanted to do the 1st and 15th as a series, kind of these thoughts that are happening just generally speaking, or as they happen in real time, what's going on in the world of rap. There's so much going on all the time, and there's so many great things that I want to highlight them. And I also want to make this an opportunity to look back, but to also interact with you. I want to thank our members that we already have. They get the 1st and 15th earlier. And for that, I'm greatly appreciative, as is the rest of the staff here. So please, if you haven't already, I always say it, but please do it. Subscribe. If you have already subscribed, please tell a friend. Let's double these numbers that we got for Unique Access Entertainment, get us up to, that 90+ thousand, that 100+ thousand threshold, so we can be a bigger, a bigger element in the game. So hit us there, subscribe. If you haven't already, you can join. Just a couple dollars a month really goes a long way to everything that we're doing behind the scenes and to some of the initiatives that myself and the rest of the Unique Access staff are looking to take here today and moving forward. So there it is, y'all. I just really miss groups, and that's what I wanted to talk about today on the 1st and 15th. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Soren Baker. Until next time, y'all. Appreciate the support.
In the beginning, hip-hop was ruled by the East Coast. Then the West Coast rose to prominence thanks to gangster rap.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Hip-hop changed the world. Gangster rap changed the narrative.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
And then changed the world again.
Cause I'll come and take your life away.
The history of gangster rap features unheard stories, unseen photos and documents, all with exclusive interviews from the founders and players who shaped gangster rap.
I think a real gangster rapper has to scare you a little bit.
The history of gangster rap, written by veteran rap journalist Soren Baker. In stores now.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Quick. Be sure to pick up my homeboy Soren Baker's book, The History of Gangster Rap, if you really want to know what we do.